I'd always been interested in Halo. I always thought Master Chief was a really cool character, ever since I was a kid, but I never had an Xbox. I got my PC a few years ago and then I grabbed the Master Chief collection for like 20 bucks. I played the multiplayer of every single game and I have played Halo Reach since it was the first game in the timeline and it was a long time back. I remember enjoying it, but I genuinely have forgotten almost everything, so I'm technically coming in fresh. Since there aren't many great single player shooters lately, I thought why not play it now. In the year 1997, Bungie began development of an RTS game. It later transformed into a third-person shooter. During that time, Microsoft were also planning to enter the gaming space, and at the time Bungie was struggling financially, and Microsoft needed new games for the new console, so it was a perfect match. They acquired Bungie and the rest was history. Since the game was originally built for PC, they had to rework everything and simplify the game, and reduce the scale. The game was originally planned to be an open world, but due to the hardware limitations, they had to reduce the scale. And since they had some issues with the camera, they made the game first person. A few years later, on the 15th of November 2001, Halo Combat Evolved released for the original Xbox. And the game became a huge success, selling 8 million copies. Now, like I mentioned before, I'm playing the game through the Master Chief Collection, and since that version includes the Anniversary Edition of Combat Evolved, that's the version I played. The one bad thing about the Master Chief Collection as a whole is the fact that the games don't really have a main menu. I know it's a stupid complaint, but this main menu of the Master Chief Collection just ain't it. But I don't think it's a major issue, but it's a small pet peeve of mine. And since I am playing the Anniversary Edition, there's a really cool feature. Since the Anniversary Edition is a remaster, you can switch between the original graphics and the remastered graphics. And I believe this is one of the greatest features a remaster can have. And I believe more games should do this. The only issue I really had with this because I spend most of the time switching between the graphics and actually playing the game. I think that's mainly just a me problem, but yeah. So enough yapping, let's start with the presentation. The original graphics of this game looks really good. Yes, it does look a bit dated, obviously, but for the time it looked great. And when talking about how a game looks, graphics aren't really the most important. The visual and art style is, and it looks banging. To this day, the enemies pop out and look great. And in the Anniversary Edition, with the flick of a button, you can get the remastered graphics. Damn! Although I think the remastered graphics are amazing, I think it takes away a bit of the original style and original vision. A lot of stuff in the remastered looks a bit too similar and don't pop out as much, and it is very bright. Missions that are meant to be a bit more creepy or meant to have a more stealthy atmosphere were just too bright for my liking. Now it isn't by any means bad, it's just different, and since you can switch between both visual styles with the switch of a button, it isn't really much of an issue. And no cap, the game's sound effects are fucking fire. They're so crisp. The energy shields, the sound when you shoot enemies, the sound of driving the Warthog. I'm no sound specialist, but this shit sounds good. The voice acting is also not bad at all. Now, is it the greatest performance of all time? No, I'm not expecting a Metal Gear Solid 3, but it's good. The characters hardly talk anyway, and when they do, it's completely fine. And Master Chief's voice is fucking badass. And the music, I don't even know how to describe it. It's my favorite part of this game, by a landslide. I loved it so much, I put it down like 10 times in my notes while playing the game. When I get into a mission and hear this song, every track is perfect. They all fit perfectly in this game. The atmosphere, perfect. This just goes so fucking hard. Oh, and the idle animations are pretty cool. Now let's talk gameplay. Halo is a first-person shooter. I think that's obvious with all the gameplay I've shown. Now we can have a small history lesson. Back in the day, first-person shooters used to let you keep multiple weapons. Every weapon you pick up, you could use whenever you want. Nowadays, most games have a limit of 2, maybe 3 weapons, and that started because of this game. I'm not sure if Halo was the first to do it, but it was definitely the one that popularized this idea. Having a 2-weapon limit forced people to pick and choose which weapon they wanted to use or which weapon fit the situation they're in. Now I like both systems, but this works well with Halo since you gotta think about which weapons you will be needing at that particular situation. Weapons are almost always on the ground, so you never really run out of ammo, and every weapon has their own use. First off, the pistol. This weapon one-shot kills an enemy if you headshot them and if they don't have a shield. Then there's the assault rifle, which is probably the most iconic weapon in the franchise. It has a rapid fire rate, but it doesn't do that much damage, especially when you're far away. The shotgun, which doesn't work well over a distance, but packs a punch when you're close by. And there's a rocket launcher, and it's a fucking rocket launcher. Not much need to be said. Then there's a sniper. 2 shots in the body kills the enemy, or 1 headshot kills the enemy. Those were the human weapons, but we can also use the Covenant's weapons. They are more energy based. The basic plasma pistol can be charged up and it's good for removing enemy shields. The normal plasma rifle kind of works like the assault rifle but better. Then the last weapon, the Needler. This one just shoots projectiles at an enemy at a slow pace and then explodes after sticking onto them. There are also 2 types of grenades. The one is a basic grenade and the other is a plasma grenade that sticks onto enemies. And there are also weapons like turrets and railguns and stuff like that, but you can only use them in particular areas, and they are fun to use. I'm adding this in post since I completely forgot about it, but there are like power-ups you can find around in the overworld. There's the overshield that just doubles your energy shield, and then there's an active camouflage that makes you invisible for like 30 seconds or something. All these weapons would be really useless if you didn't have enemies to fight. The main enemies are these aliens called the Covenant. They have the normal grunts, which are just cannon fodder. They sometimes run away from you, which is pretty funny. The Elite is one of the most common enemies. They also have shields. The Jackals, who are a lot faster and have indestructible shields unless you use plasma weaponry. And last but not least, the Hunters. They are tanks and are indestructible but have 2 weaknesses. One weakness is behind their back. And I'm only now coming to know that you can one-shot kill them with the pistol. That would have saved me a lot of fucking trouble. And there are the other enemy types, kind of like parasitic things called the Flood. Man, fuck these guys. Fuck all of them. I'll talk about the issues I have with them a bit later, but god, fuck them. They have a few forms. The first form is this chicken popcorn form. They die almost instantly, anything kills them. Then there's the form that takes over an elite or human soldier. You just gotta shoot them and they die. Sometimes these guys can even wield weapons. Last but not least, the carriers. They explode when getting shot at, and if you're in their range you will also get killed. I hate these enemies with a passion. Just like some of the enemies, you also have a shield, and whenever it gets damaged you can wait it out to be recharged. But when the shield depletes and the enemy still hits on you, your health depletes. And it depletes quickly, and when it depletes, you are dead. And in some missions you can also get companions that help you out. One thing I did not know about Halo was the fact that there was a lack of any boss fights. Now, not every game needs to have boss fights, but I felt a bit lacking. I would have loved a good boss fight to switch things up around. And vehicles are also a major part of the game. There are 4 vehicles in the game. I'm not a huge fan of how they control, maybe because I played with the game with a keyboard and mouse. The first vehicle is the Warthog, which have space for 4 guys to come with on board, with the Gatling gun behind to shoot enemies. The Ghost is the next one. It has plasma guns and it's really fast, good for covering long distances. The Scorpion is just a huge ass tank. I never got in it, to be honest. I didn't even know you could until I made this video. And the last one is the Banshee. This one is also equipped with plasma weapons and you can fly with it. All in all, the gameplay is really good. I just wish it had a bit more variety to change things up a bit. For the most part, this game is well designed. There are 10 missions and each take around an hour to complete. Most of them are in enclosed spaces with enough room to fight enemies. Some missions take a more larger scale and those missions always feel really slow or too empty. Now that it was originally supposed to be an RTS game and then an open world game, it makes sense why they're so huge. A few of the missions can be a bit confusing, but that might be a me issue because I'm horrible with directions in game. Some stuff looks very similar, so I can get confusing, but there is one mission I hate with every fiber of my being, that being mission 7. Fuck this mission. First of all, the Flood enemy type is annoying to fight against, and this mission showcases that. There were so many and they were so annoying. I had such a burnout after playing this mission. I stopped playing the game for more than a week. You go through 10 floors of fighting the most bullshit enemies. I hate this mission with all my heart. It was such a slog and such a drag and a huge stain on an otherwise good game. And the game also has a difficulty spike. Everything before this mission was very manageable, but after this the game just spiked out of nowhere, which is not a bad thing. I love hard games, but it should have been paced a bit better. Now I'm going to be talking about the story, so there will be spoilers. I'll put a timestamp and just skip to that area if you want to avoid spoilers. The game starts in a ship. We see a ship that gets attacked by the Covenant. Master Chief wakes up from his pod. He's a Spartan. basically super soldiers. One neat trick is the game asks you to use the camera, and depending on how you use it, it'll set the camera controls for you to either be inverted or normal. So back to the story. The captain entrusts Cortana, a AI model, to prevent the Covenant from finding out where Earth is. Then you crash into another planet. And then we get some information that Captain Keyes is captured, and after saving him, the captain says the Covenant called the planet we landed on, which has a ring on it, Halo, and he believes it to be a weapon. While Keyes is searching for the weapons cache, Master Chief and Cortana assault Halo's control room. Cortana enters Halo systems and discovers something and sends Master Chief to stop Keyes. During this time, we encounter the Flood. Now, I'm not kidding, the mission leading up to the Flood encounter is probably the best. The atmosphere is creepy, we hear the Covenant screams and we see them dead on the way, while they slowly get revealed to us. The mission also was pretty chilling. After that, we meet the AI 343 Guilty Sparks, who asks Master Chief to activate Halo's defenses. After retrieving the ring's activation index, Master Chief returns to the control room. Cortana intervenes, revealing that Halo was designed to destroy all sentient life to starve. When she refuses to surrender the index, 343 Guilty Spark attacks them. The plot twist of 343 is done well. It came a bit fast, but there wasn't much time anyway, so I understand why they did it like that. To stop Halo's activation, Master Chief and Cortana decide to destroy the installation. They need Keyes' neural implants to destroy the ship. Master Chief finds Keyes assimilated by the Flood and retrieves the implant. 343 prevents him from using the self-destruct, so they destabilize the reactors instead, then escape the explosion. Then Master Chief says,
"No, I think we're just getting started."
Overall, the story is simple but good. I didn't like the pacing that much. Most of the game, the story wasn't talked about. Near the end is where most of the stuff happens. It's not bad, but I would have preferred the pacing to be a bit more balanced. One of the main highlights was the multiplayer mode, but I didn't play much of the multiplayer now. But from what I remember, it was pretty fun, but I don't really have much to say about this mode. And replayability is a very important thing for me, and for me, Halo is a replayable game. The gameplay is fun, the levels are good, and it ain't that long. The only thing that would annoy me is replaying Mission 7, which probably is one of my least favorite missions in gaming. All in all, I liked the game a lot. It's not the best thing ever, but it was good all the way through. It also felt like a baseline for something grander and greater. It had a few issues, but nothing major except Mission 7. I can't wait to see how they expand the world and gameplay in the second one. But before that, I got another game I would like to cover. I'll see y'all in the next one. Now off script a bit, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you enjoyed it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe if you want to get more awesome gaming content. I haven't made one in a while, I'm sorry. I thought this video would have come out a bit sooner, but due to school and stuff, it took a lot longer than I thought it would. But I will be working on the next video as soon as possible. Hopefully I can get it out by the next 2 weeks or something. I'm not making any promises, but I'm hoping. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.